Because your lonesome purpose.
Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of the F1 magazine ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix. Here's what's coming up. A review of the Monaco Grand Prix, Ferrari's test driver Marc Gené gives us some driving tips, and Lewis Hamilton takes a look ahead to the Canadian Grand Prix. The Monaco Grand Prix gave us two headlines, as not only did Nico Rosberg break Lewis Hamilton's momentum, but Marussia managed to break a 4-year points drought. The race saw Rosberg lead from start to finish, which, considering the limited overtaking opportunities afforded around Monaco's tight streets, comes as no surprise. He got half the job done on Saturday with pole position. Teammate Lewis Hamilton challenged him throughout, but backed off in the closing laps as Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo closed in, but a little too late as he settled for third. Further back, a McLaren returned to the points with Jenson Button finishing 6th behind Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg, whilst contact to the Fairmont hairpin with Kimi Raikkonen for Kevin Magnussen pushed him down to 10th. That, however, allowed Jules Bianchi to jump ahead and score 9th, handing Marussia 2 points, putting them above Caterham and Sauber in the championship.
Yeah, so amazing winning again here in Monaco Home Grand Prix, fantastic. It was a tough race because in the middle of the race I had to save a lot of fuel all of a sudden and I had to completely change the way I was driving and everything, and so with Lewis riding my gearbox that was not so easy, but then it went out. Whoa! Then it went great and I'm ecstatic, and also to break Lewis's rhythm was great. See you. Bye bye, così!
The repeated sensor failures, which have plagued several teams this season, will likely be resolved next year if the FIA homologates a new fuel sensor currently under development by a consortium of engineering companies. The new Flowsonic sensor is set for tests later this year for use in 2015 and weighs just 250 grams, half the 500 gram limit specified by the FIA. Following their falling out, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg have made up during a private chat on Friday after the Monaco Grand Prix. The pair fell out during qualifying when Rosberg was accused of cheating in order to score pole position, which led to Hamilton calling off their friendship. However, he tweeted, "We've been friends a long time, and as friends we have our up and downs. Today we spoke, we're cool, still friends." A new team is set for the grid in 2015, following news that Gené has been forced to delay his project until 2016. Forza Rossa is set to get the green light from the FIA, with funding coming from several private investors, the Romanian government, and is led by Ian Bozak, who heads up Ferrari's Romania dealership, whilst former HRT team principal Colin Coles will run the outfit. A Ferrari engine deal is believed to already be in place. Renault believe they've overcome the majority of the problems which plagued their pre-season, and are set to allow their customers to run their power units at 100% during the Canadian Grand Prix for the first time this season. Head of trackside operations, Remy Taffin, said the manufacturer had been forced to run in recovery mode for the first 6 races, but Canada would finally show where they stood amongst their competitors. Wider tyres could make a comeback next season if Pirelli and Felipe Massa get their way. The pair believe reducing aerodynamic grip and replacing it with mechanical grip through a larger contact patch will increase the overall excitement of the sport. Do you live in the United Kingdom and fancy a day out go-karting with Red Bull? Well, we're giving you and a friend the chance. Just head to our website, link in the description below, and submit your podium prediction for the Canadian Grand Prix. But be quick, the competition closes on Friday. And if you haven't already, check out our Senna special, which will be found on our YouTube channel.
Driving style means the way a driver controls the car. A Formula One is very rigid to optimize downforce. But this high downforce means that when we brake in a very specific way. We brake very hard at the beginning of a corner and we come off the brakes as the car is approaching into the corner. If a driver can brake just a meter later without making a mistake, that can have a big influence into the lap time. There are two types of driving styles. One is drivers who are very aggressive with the steering wheel and also very aggressive with the throttle, how they apply the throttle. And other drivers who are very smooth, always turning just the right amount and being very smooth with the throttle. A Formula One car has so much grip that this involves overlap. Overlap means that at the same time as you're braking into the corner, you're already at some point applying the throttle at the same time as you are on the brakes. The moment the Formula One car reaches the apex, you want to be very early on the throttle, of course keeping always the perfect line. Oversteer, that's when the front turns too much. To correct that, you can do opposite lock. Understeer, that is when the front of the car is running too wide. There's two ways to solve understeer. One is coming off the throttle and another one is just applying more steering into the car. By nature, a driver operates on instinct. But also, a driver needs to be very intelligent, using all the data available to improve his driving style. But on overtaking, instinct is the most important aspect. This year, with the new power units, driving techniques will have to change again, with instructions from the pit wall being more important than ever.
Models, and specifically wind tunnel models, are something that is key to our aerodynamic development. From that we can evaluate different parts. Anything that we find is a benefit, we will then attempt to incorporate onto the real car. The timescale from that can be anything from one day, if it's a small part, right through to fundamental research for the following year's car, which typically might start in something like April or May, ready for its inaugural outing and testing in January.
N.
Night racing.
So night races will have Singapore, Abu Dhabi and Bahrain.
As a driver point of view, I would say it's really spectacular.
Obviously, you don't turn up with a dark visor because you don't see that much.
Maybe in terms of focus, it's a bit more difficult.
You need to focus a little bit harder because it is a bit darker than at daytime. But yeah, all in all, I think it's just spectacular for everyone around the track, but also us inside the cars. I think we all enjoy.
O. Ops room. The ops room is our mission control room, so it saves us a great deal of money, not needing to take engineers to the trackside, but they're able to follow the data on the car, the radio, the telemetry, just as if they were at the circuit.
P. Pit stop. A handful of time could be lost or gained in the pits. You know, like we're fighting each lap on the track, 1/10, 2/10 of a second. In a pit stop, it can be, you can lose 1 second, 2 seconds. It's very, very important.
For Red Bull, we've broken several records in the last 12 months, going for the first time below 2 seconds, 1.84 seconds, setting a new world record.
It's not that frustrating because you know you're coming in for something better. I guess you're coming in for new rubber. So it's always nice leaving the pits with that. You pull out, you got fresh tyres and get a few fast laps into you. What starts with Q?
Qualifying.
I didn't think that one through. As intense as the race, I think qualifying is, a lot of the time you got one lap and that can set up your weekend.
Very important to get the concentration, the focus right, and to make sure that you have no mistakes and you get the maximum out of yourself, out of the car.
The car is with the freshest rubber, the lowest amount of fuel, and that's when you can really see what it's all about.
Yeah, big challenge, but a moment I think that I really enjoy because you can feel the tension when it all comes down to that one final lap.
It's an intense, very intense part of the weekend, but one that many drivers enjoy, including myself.
Formula 1 heads to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend. Lewis Hamilton is the most successful driver on the current grid at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with 3 wins, and he'll be hoping to add a 4th.
Hey everyone, I'm Lewis Hamilton, and today I'm at the team factory preparing for the Canadian Grand Prix. Now this one's really important. It's where I won my first Grand Prix, so I want to make sure I keep doing that. But secondly, it's got long straights, so braking stability is really important, and also for fuel. So check out this lap. So now we're starting across the start line. Finding the braking point into turn 1 is really important. Be careful on the curves. Very tight into turn 2. Again, very low grip on the exit there. It's a circuit you have to be, again, very aggressive, so it's always suited my style. But incredible city. It's really one my family all love to come to. And we have a great crowd there, so I'm really hoping that this time the weather's good and we have a good weekend. Taking lots of curb into turn 3 and 4. Coming on quite wide up against the wall. Turn 7. Just a little bit of curb. Really important the exit here. You carry down the rest of the straight, but it's very tricky. Wall of Champions on the outside. Petronas Cintiamore for the V6 Turbo has been developed to improve engine cooling, cope with higher temperatures, and minimize energy loss through friction in the engine. Flat out to the complex where it's the hairpin, it's where all the fans are sitting. Really nice and tight, you can brake nice and deep and as late as possible. Make it a V curve and get a really good exit onto a really important straight as well, which again you use the DRS. The straight seems to last forever, so you're trying to pinpoint, look far ahead and try and find your braking point for the last corner, of which try and use a little bit of curb. Try not to hit the other wall of champions on the exit, and that's allowed. So that's all the prep work done, so I look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed the F1 magazine, please feel free to share our videos.